Christine Chavez. Can we give it up for Christine Chavez? Who's made a lifetime commitment to public service, civil rights, and the labor movement. She's currently serving as a political consultant working on numerous progressive causes. Grew up with the United Farm Workers, the organization her grandfather, Cesar Chavez, helped to co-found 40 years ago. She is bringing that spirit. Latina Magazine recently named her as one of their top Latinas for her longtime involvement with civil rights issues. And in particular, she has been a staunch advocate of marriage equality. Christine Chavez and Dolores Huerta were campaigning for our rights long before it became fashionable. So without further ado, I would like to introduce a shero of mine, Christine Chavez.
Thank you. How are you feeling, San Francisco, after that march? I want to thank you so much for inviting me to be here with you today. You know, growing up in this family, my grandfather used to tell us that you can't champion equality for your own people while tolerating discrimination against any group of people because of who they are. So it's an honor for me to be here with you today in the shadow of my grandfather's legacy to demonstrate unity and solidarity with couples who have been denied the fundamental right to marry. And I know that future generations will look back on this day and call it a turning point in the American civil rights movement. And it's historic because we know in our hearts that the way things are now isn't the way that things will be the next time marriage equality goes before a vote of the people. When my grandfather was confronted decades ago by leaders from his own community who didn't believe it was possible to overcome the growers because they were too rich and too powerful, he responded, "Sí se puede," or "Yes, we can." As you know, those words, which became the theme of the farm worker movement, have been adopted by activists across America and around the world for people who are looking for change. President Obama used "Sí se puede," or "Yes, we can," as the theme of his presidential campaign. And I'm here today to repeat to you those words amidst this historic struggle for civil rights. Sí se puede, and yes we can. We have to believe that we can fix the wrong that was handed down to us by staying united and getting organized as a community. We can decide that today's decision is not a setback, but rather the launch of a renewed and reinvigorated movement. We can decide that our actions from this moment forward will determine the success or failure of our fight for justice. The United Farm Workers and the entire Chavez family was proud to stand with you in opposition to Proposition 8, and will be just as proud to stand with you until we erase Proposition 8.
Amen!
Like Mayor Gavin Newsom and Senator Mark Leno and Molly and Davina and everybody over at Marriage Equality. Where are they? Let's give it up for them. But the real key to victory is going to be with you and me and our willingness to be a part of a campaign that will expand across this state. We need to knock on doors, we need to make phone calls, we need to organize house meetings, and we need to contribute our time and our money to this new campaign. We need to draw on the lessons from my grandfather and Harvey Milk, who understood it's not when you win that's important, it's that you never give up the fight.
Amen.
Nearly 40 years ago, when my grandfather was being led away to jail after refusing a judge's order to stop boycotting a huge corporate vegetable grower, he told his supporters, boycott the hell out of them. Our challenge today, in the face of another court ruling, is to organize the hell out of them. So we need to honor their memory and stay focused on what we can control, and that's getting our message out to voters about the need for fairness and for justice. I plan on taking our message to my community in East Los Angeles and to where I was born, in Delano, California, in the heart of the Central Valley. And the Latino community knows that discrimination is alive and well in California, and that attacks against us are not just coming in the form of anti-immigrant schemes such as Proposition 187. Right-wing extremists will continue to try to drive a wedge between our communities and between our strong coalition. We cannot allow them to do that. We know that our community is energized and prepared to go back to the voters in this state to tell them our side of the story and to ask them to stand with us to build a better California. So on Saturday, I invite all of you to travel with us to Fresno, not in protest, but to open up a dialogue. We're going back to the middle of California. It's where the struggle for the farmer rights movement began, and it's where the campaign for marriage equality will dedicate itself to a plan of action that's going to take us to victory. Today the way that my grandfather did. He used this to inspire farm workers to take that next step. We have to be organized when we do this, just the way that Cesar Chavez was. We're going to start with the farm worker hand clap, and we're going to add in Si Se Puede. I'm sure many of you have done this before, okay? So it starts off slow. Si Se